the options. I don't mind a little bit of music, but it's way too loud. That's fine. Okay. We'll just go through the whole thing from field strip up. What's downloading the model? Guess they updated it or something. See, I'll be able to unlock the CZ75 here in about 900 XP. There we go. Nice. Now this part is pretty easy. Field stripping, you just take a few parts out. Let's see if I remember exactly what parts. I think you take this off next. And then you take this out. You take this dust cover off. When it's done, you've got to wait for the animation. And I'm pretty sure you take this rod and spring out. It does tell you what the parts on are when you click on recoil spring, rear recoil spring guide, receiver cover. You should be able to take the bolt out now. Actually, it's the bolt carrier. The bolt is inside the bolt carrier. And that is not it. It says 2 of 14. Take this off as well. 1 of 14, maybe. What's the last piece you take off? Do you remove any parts from the bolt carrier? Remove the bolt from the bolt carrier? Oh yeah, that makes sense during field stripping. Because you want to be able to clean all of these parts. I guess I don't need to stay here. Go back. Right? We can go back. Names. Nice. Oh, there we go. Exit. Okay. And we can go to Disassembly, which is far more intricate and involved. We can even take the little pieces out of the magazine, which is fun. Take every little piece off the gun. Whoops. I'm trying to take this off. This is a great, I guess you could call it a game, for learning how firearms operate, how to disassemble them, how to clean them. You don't really get to see cleaning, but you get to see every step of the disassembly process. They show you how screws come out, or every piece comes out, every pin, everything. Sure this should, actually that should have gone first. Not that it actually matters. It's kind of hard to see it, but they pull this little lever to get this thing out. I think next is this. has been a little while. Don't know my AK-47 quite as well as I should anymore. Oops. Sometimes it thinks you're trying to spin your view around or something, instead of take a part out of the gun. Let's not forget the safety. That's not the safety that's smack up the same piece. This would be the safety, but it's not ready to come out yet. Oh no, I gotta take this out first. Then I can take this out. I should be able to take... No, I've got to take the trigger out first. Now I can take this out. This comes apart. It's not the last piece. Oh, I've not taken this off yet. There we go. A completely disassembled AK-47. Now, I get to put it back together. This is the fun part. I like to start with the magazine. That way it's ready to go when I'm ready to finish. Put the magazine release back in. Reassemble this. Put it back in the gun. The trigger should go in first. And I do believe the hammer. And this. Make sure you put that thing in before the barrel. And we've got to get this thing back together. The rear sight base. We need to put this back together and back on the gun. Once you get the hang of this, it's fairly easy to do. And fairly fun. I mean, it gets boring after a while just because it's difficult to unlock all of the parts and pieces. Or it's difficult to get enough XP to unlock the next gun, I should say. You have all of the parts and pieces. But it takes so much XP to unlock the next gun that it's... Usually you end up on the same 1 or 2 or 3 guns for a long time. Just keep working on them over and over again until you get it. Back together. Firing pin. Bolt carrier. Put the gas piston in the bolt carrier. And put the bolt carrier back in the gun. Let's put the spring back on this little rod. Rear recoil spring guide. Now get the dust cover on there. Rod back in, and put the cleaning kit back in. And put the magazine back in. And we are done. Fairly simple. AK-47 is not an extremely complicated gun. Not getting a whole lot of XP, but I've got a few guns to go through. So what I have unlocked. Looks like I have 5. Operation is always fun. Here you can click parts of the gun to operate them. It's on safe at the moment. It's on semi-automatic at the moment. It goes to safe. Did I really not set it on full auto? I don't understand. Why can't I set it on full auto from the lever? Whatever. Put the bayonet on it. It's not going to shoot the bayonet on. The gun up. Oh wait, I need to reload, don't I? Nice thing about this is you can get like cutaways. You can actually watch the gun operate. As well as X-ray, which is really nice. You can also unload the gun so you can see what happens when bullets are ejected. You can reload here by clicking the magazine. You can fire here by clicking the trigger. So most of the controls you have buttons on the left and right for, as well as being able to click the controls on the gun itself. You also have, I think, 3 X-ray modes, so that you can see parts in the gun a little more clearly. You can zoom in and move the view around. So if you want to get a good look at what's happening inside the gun while you're operating it, you can, and you can slow it down quite a bit. So you can press the button, you can see exactly how it operates. So let's slow it down to 50, or 1/50th of the speed, I guess. So you press the button, the trigger pulls back, the hammer springs forward and hits the firing pin shoots forward and hits the primer, the round fires, pushes the bolt back, ejects the empty casing. Now I don't imagine you can see it too well. Go to X-ray 3 and yeah, we'll get to see a little bit of the rod there. Now this is a pause at the bottom, which is interesting. You can see how the piston pushes this back. This is actually what operates this bolt. You can kind of see that that is pushing the bolt carrier, or was, when it was fired. And what happens is when that gas goes, when the bullet goes down the barrel, there's hot gas that's in between the bullet and the brass casing that it was in. And that hot gas, when it gets to this point right here, after the bullet passes this, some gas goes up this tube, and it pushes the piston back. I'm not sure if we'll be able to see it here as the bullet exits the gun. Yep, there we go. That pushes that piston, and as that piston goes back, it pushes on the spring, and it pushes on the bolt carrier. So let's hit fire again when the animation's done playing. And there it goes. We can see this coming back, and it pushes that bolt carrier, which ejects that spent casing, that empty casing, pushes the next round into the firing chamber. Let's put it on full auto, just for fun. Well, and you can see how the parts move inside the gun when you switch it from full auto to single. It's really slow at the moment, but you can actually see how the trigger mechanism reacts differently when the gun is on full auto. You can see how the trigger doesn't move back to catch the hammer on full auto, but when you put it on single, it's going to take a minute here. There we go. When it's on single, and you fire, this comes down gets caught on that hook, so the hammer can't fire again, even though the trigger is pressed. And then as the trigger goes forward again, this catches the hammer. And so basically it has two mechanisms or two pieces of metal in here that catch the hammer to keep it from flying forward again when it's in single shot mode. That way it doesn't just keep firing until you release the trigger. It only fires once per pull of the trigger. It's a very simple design and very effective. That's probably enough for the AK-47, I would guess. You don't really see much in the in X-Ray 4 mode. Let's put this on 10 and hit fire just to watch the bolt carrier go back. See, you can see exactly how that works. How that piston pushes that bolt carrier back against this spring. It's pretty fun. I mean, if you're into guns. I guess if you don't like guns, it might not be fun. Game is where you disassemble and reassemble the gun. Without hints, I do believe. Not that you get many hints. No, actually, I think hardcore mode is where you get no hints. Yeah, this gives you hints as to whether or not when you click on a piece, it gives you an arrow so that you know you can move it. Whereas in the hardcore mode, you don't get that. Then I think there's also a super game mode where you can activate multiple things at once by clicking on them at the same time. You know, I could just click this and this and this and all sorts of things. They'd all remove the pieces at the same time, which is nice. Because with the other modes, it does force you to wait on the animation to finish before you can click on something else, which is really quite annoying. It's easy to forget that little spring in there. Very easy to forget that little spring. It's easy to forget little pieces like this as well. And it's funny, sometimes, like with this part, it'll take the little piece out on its own, but with this part, it didn't. This one, it takes the little pieces out on its own. This one, it doesn't. It just takes the one pin out. You have to take the other parts out. Now this one does come apart into a number of different pieces. Make sure you click the right thing. We take this piece out first. Take the hammer out. Take the trigger assembly out. We take this out. We disassemble it. Done. Start assembly. Now, all it really takes to be good at this is a good memory. And I've done it enough times that I do remember most of the parts and pieces for this gun. I have to admit, if you're thinking about buying a gun, this is a great way to learn how to take the gun apart and put it back together. I wish they had the Winchester Model 18. Is it 1897? Yeah, 1897 in here. Because I need to learn how to take mine apart. There's all the videos on YouTube, people show you how to do it, are for the trench gun version that was used in World War I. And I have the riot gun version that was used by police forces after World War II. Which means mine's a little different. So I have trouble, or I guess shouldn't say I have trouble, I just don't want to try to follow guides for a different version of the shotgun to take apart the one I have, because I'm a little concerned that it may not be 100% accurate since it is technically a different version of the shotgun. That is one unfortunate thing about working with guns, is sometimes you've got a model of a gun like the AK-47, and there may be 1,000 different configurations for it. Different manufacturers may make different changes when they're making versions of the gun and marketing them. And sometimes they're great changes, but it can make disassembling and reassembling the gun a bit challenging, because it suddenly adds different pieces, different ways of taking the gun apart and putting it back together, and it can make things a little confusing. Pretty easy. 3 minutes, 2 seconds. Total time of 5 minutes, 53 seconds, and 7/10 of a second, I guess. Nice. It's not a lot of XP, but considering the fact that I'd already achieved all of those achievements, I guess it's not bad. I don't have a booster, so I don't get the extra XP now, do I? We're getting close. I need... Is it exactly 5,000? Yeah. Well, we've got Super Game and Hardcore Game, which are basically the same as Game, except Super Game doesn't have hints, and Hardcore Game allows you to click on multiple things at the same time. You don't have to wait for the animations. So let's move on to the next gun, which is a Colt Model 1911. A classic American firearm used by the United States military. Army, of course, it was very iconic there. But I think the Marines, well, I know the Marines used it. I assume the other branches used it as well, but I don't know that much about the Navy and the Air Force. Used it until the 1980s when it was replaced by the Beretta M9. Taking the spring out, not that that's difficult in any way, shape, or form. Okay. Well, the proper thing to do would be to pull the... Yeah, okay, it does that automatically. Good. I'd forgotten it does that automatically. I think it expects this to come out first. This is a little different from the 1911 I have, so I have to forget how it works. See, the barrel on mine is actually screwed in. Yes, assembly, please. Barrel goes in first. By this little doohickey. Actually, when I click on it, it tells me barrel bushing. Recoil spring guide. Spring back in there. We can put the slide back on. Put the slide stop back on. recoil spring plug back in, put the magazine back in. Fairly simple. It's a fairly straightforward pistol. A Glock and a lot of other modern firearms are considerably easier to disassemble and reassemble. The 1911 for a semi-automatic is actually rather difficult by comparison, but it is not terrible. Come on. Hurry up your little animation there, silly game. Take that off the back. Take this out first. Need to take this out. See, I'm not used to that piece. I'm used to the barrel being screwed in, but then again, my 1911 is 22 caliber. It's not a 45 like this. Yeah, this part comes off first, then we can take out the firing pin and the extractor. And I think that's everything on the slide. We'll start with this. Take the grips off first. Take out this pin. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this piece. And there is something inside there. Now, there is a... need to take this off. Yeah, that was the pin. Take this out. Don't have to take that off yet, but we can. That pin is gone, so I think this comes out next. And let's get this pin out. This comes out first. Then we can take the hammer out. And then we can take this piece off of the hammer. We need to take this pin out. We should be able to remove this. And take this out. And that holds in the trigger, which, there we go. There we go. Now we have 2 parts remaining. And I'm not really sure where they are. Is there another piece in this thing? I think there was. Is there a piece in this? This can be that obnoxious part where you're looking for that last little piece of something that you missed. Trying to figure out where on earth it could be. Did I miss something on the slide? Because I think I got everything out of the frame. Looks like all of these little pieces are taken apart. Whoops. Clicked off the screen. Minimize the game. Oh, wow. Yeah, I forgot to take the spring out of that. Now it says there's still 1 piece. So what else have I forgotten? It's a single piece. It's a single piece. Yeah, the easy way to find out is just to click on things and see what does and doesn't flash. I told it to remove that, it didn't. Yeah, I got everything out of that. There's no pieces in there. I'm missing something. missing? I have no idea. I can't find anything that has not come apart. Other than this, which it won't let me take off. That base plate was supposed to come off, I thought. Got one part left over, and I can't find a part anywhere else that's connected to something. Everything else is disconnected. Oh, wait a minute, this comes off. I can't believe I forgot that. That's pathetic. Okay, let's see if we can reassemble it and not suck at it. Okay. Well, I guess first we'll put this piece on that I was so confused about last time. We can put the trigger in, put the magazine release in, the magazine catch. And after that, we can put in, actually does go next. Is it this piece, or this goes together for sure? I really do think this goes in next, but I'm wrong. This does. I'm not actually sure what that was. Oh, I need to put the pin in. The pin that holds that little thing in there. Now I should be able to put the hammer in. Put the hammer's pin in. Where's that little thing that goes underneath? Now I think I can put this in. I can put the safety back together. To get this back in there. So I'm pretty sure it goes in next. The animation for this magazine is so slow. Painfully slow. Oh, I forgot to put that back on. Done. Good old 1911. Now this one obviously doesn't have a fully automatic mode. Whoops. Just trying to reload the magazine there. Let's see, X-ray, slow motion, just for fun. It's kind of fun to watch. It's interesting to see how that hammer is pushed forward by the spring down in the bottom of the grip. The animation for the reload is so slow. Okay, here we can see how this little piece works in tandem with the trigger. See, it's holding the hammer. And if we slow this down a little bit more and zoom in a little bit, we can press fire and we can see how this pushes on that to release the hammer. Pretty cool, huh? You can learn a lot with this little game. I haven't unloaded the gun yet. Let's see, I haven't turned the safety on yet. I haven't used custom grips yet. I have not changed the grip types yet. That's not bad looking. Let's see, should we do game mode or should we do super game? For super game because it doesn't control my view. It's not a huge pain in the neck. There it goes. Slow. Much better. Sure this can come out. Yeah, there we go. Also pretty sure that in this particular mode that if I double click on the wrong thing, I immediately fail. Just makes it that much more fun. Got that little assembly back in, so this is next. be easy. 3 minutes and 33 seconds. Nice. Oops. It's trying to be a little cantankerous with me, isn't it? Now, one nice thing about these guns is I unlock the shooting range for them, too. So I can go and shoot these guns, in addition to taking them apart and putting them back together. Let's see, hit every target 7 times. What's the reload button? I made enough points to actually pass that. Yeah, you need to get 180, and I think I had 175. Mouse movement in this game is a little funky. There is a button to like hold your breath or something, and I forget what it is. $195 that time. Nice. Earn 105 points. Hit every target. Oh, this one. This one's easy. Kind of looks like there's a can way back there in the back. Hit every target for any time. What? Get 180 points. Should be easy enough. Well, these are the ones that randomly pop up. It's definitely a little on the loud side. I think I missed that one. Nice thing about a 1911 is even when the magazine's empty, it's so heavy that it's really easy to shoot. You start shooting those polymer framed handguns, and when the magazine's empty, whoops, they are so lightweight that they're hard to keep on target. They'll just flop around in your hand. Whoops, that was terrible. At least I'm already ahead of what I needed to be at. I missed the last one. missed the last one again. Maybe I didn't miss it. Hard to say. I definitely missed it there. What's with that last one? I think I needed 180. I missed too many times. I cannot believe I missed the first one. Oh, my 10 points short? I was. No, it was 5 points. Only 5. Mouse movement is just way too loud in this game. Not that you can hear anything I'm saying when I'm shooting. Nice. Just barely got it. Reload. Hold one's breath. Semi-auto is L. Targeting mouse 1 or Q. Fire mouse 0. Anyway. Another 200. We're slowly getting there. Oh, the Tech 9. This is a horrible gun. Okay, how does this... Is it this pin? This comes off. The more complicated the gun, the more complicated the field stripping procedure. Take the bolt out, it'll come out. That should be it. Next, we put it back together. Just as easy as taking it apart. A little bit more so, because now I remember how it goes. It was that first pin that got me. Pretty easy, huh? Another very slow magazine disassembly animation. Whoops. extractor, yeah. Okay, I think that's all. Whatever the hell that assembly is called. I think this part comes. No? Oh, this comes out first. Magazine release. Then this. Trigger assembly. Done. It's kind of a weird gun. A very, very weird gun. Assemble it real quick. It's that quick. To assemble a Tech 9. Tech 9 is just one of those guns that I personally would never, ever want to own. And it's not the accuracy issue, it's the reliability issue. My understanding is that a Tech 9 just is not a reliable gun. And based entirely on the design that I'm seeing here, I can understand that. It doesn't look like it would be a reliable gun. It's a very strange design. And it looks like it would be prone to failures. How am I supposed to see what I'm doing? It does go together pretty easily, though. I mean, it's definitely more complicated than a 1911, but it still goes together pretty easily. Done. Easy. Okay, let's see if we can get game mode done with no mistakes, because that gets us extra points. We don't make any mistakes. And it's easy to make mistakes. Oops. At least that doesn't count off. I mean, it wasn't my fault that the stupid animation wasn't finished yet. And those animations being forced to wait for them is really the only thing I don't like about this game, other than the difficulty of getting enough XP to unlock the next gun. This gun is a pretty easy one. Done. Assembly. I probably won't get the time trials, because those are difficult. And you have very little control of the camera. During the animations, it does whatever the hell it wants with your camera. Stop that. Get in the gun. Or the magazine. Okay, this part first. And these parts. I can start putting this stupid thing together. This is the thing that makes the least sense. And why I feel that, based on the design, it would be prone to failure. This thing with these two rods that are in such strange positions. I would just expect this gun to malfunction the way it's designed. Done. 2 minutes 41.9 seconds. Let's see what all I got. Got 3 of them for 90. Now we're getting close. I don't have the range for that gun. We'll do the MP5 next. That's a pretty iconic gun. It's also got a lot of parts. If you thought the Tech 9 was bad, this thing's crazy. Okay, where's the pin? And then what comes next? This. And the bolt carrier, I do believe. I'm trying to remember the field stripping process on this gun. This one is complicated. Are there any other... This comes off, doesn't it? What else is part of the field stripping process? Is there like a gas system in this gun? I think this gun's blowback. No, it's gas. The gas system doesn't come out. Take the firing pin out? Apparently. Take the spring out. So that's all part of the field stripping process. The field stripping is not done yet. Oh, wants to take the lower receiver off. If the lower receiver's off, what else is supposed to come off this thing during field stripping? Oh, I bet the charging... No, the charging handle doesn't come off. Oh. Okay. I've completely forgotten this gun. You can tell, can't you? Okay. I do vaguely remember carrier or whatever design. But where's the spring? Spring and rod. Recoil spring guide rod. If you want to get technical. And I'm going to make a ton of mistakes during disassembly and reassembly. It's going to be a long disassembly. Okay, magazine first. Oh, yeah, duh. Doesn't come out automatically. Carrier. Recoil spring guide rod. Recoil parts assembly. Head. Locking piece. Firing pin. Locking rollers assembly. Extractor assembly. Okay, pretty sure that's it for that. This should come out fairly easily. Need to take this off. And then this gets complicated. Really complicated. I think we start with this. And then this. This can come apart. Then I think we've got the actual trigger assembly itself. Trigger and sear. Is that it? No, there's one little piece left in there. Catch with roller assembly. Okay. Let's get the magazine release. gas system comes out next. Don't quote me on that, though. This comes off the front sight tower, and I think the gas system doesn't come off next. That comes off next. Now the gas system? No. The barrel comes out first. Then the gas system. Okay. Does this come out? Yes, it does. Cocking lever support. I have 4 parts remaining. Is this a part? Nope. In fact, that whole thing seems to be self-contained. Oh boy, now for that lengthy process of figuring out what little tiny piece of whatever I've missed somewhere. Okay, do these... No. What about this? Does it have any parts that I have yet to... Does this have anything left in it? Nope. Is this still in one piece? This is going to be a while. These don't appear to come apart unless there's something holding them together. I don't see it. I don't remember it coming apart. So, where's the last piece? 4 pieces. There's some little thing somewhere that comes apart that's not completely disassembled yet. Expected to have been in those parts. There's that spring. It's completely apart. Disappointing. I was hoping it was not completely apart. This is the part where you spend 20 minutes confused as to which tiny little piece of nothingness still needs removed from something. Is this one piece? I don't get it. What have I not taken apart? Wait a minute. Oh, that tiny, tiny little thing. We'll see if I can complete assembly. This is not going to be easy. Well, it's easier than disassembly, because you can see the parts. And usually you can guess where they go. This goes in first, actually. This thing goes in there. This funky thing needs to go back together. And in the gun. And this all goes back together. Magazine release needs to go back in. This needs to go back in. Not quite the right order, but who cares? Back together, or the bolt carrier, I should say. Put the rear sight back on. Put this thing back in. I guess the gas system will go on first. The barrel. And this thing, the front sight tower, cap, handguard, put the bolt carrier back in, put this thing back on, put the pin in. This is still in pieces. I don't usually leave it like that, do I? That right there is why. Done. I'm never gonna get the, oh, I only need 5 more points, too. Let's just do the field strip on the SIG 552 real quick. That'll get me 5 points. It's a nice gun. I like it. Obviously, the magazine goes first. It's just duh, you know? Okay. I think this goes next. Now, I think at some point one of the handguards does come off, but yeah, we take this pin out. We take this pin out. And then we disconnect the lower receiver from the upper receiver. Then we take the bolt handle out. The bolt's not ready to come out because we haven't taken the gas system apart. Take out the gas valve. Take out the gas piston. Now the bolt. No, the bolt can't come out yet. Probably not done. Oh, I haven't taken the bolt carrier piston out yet. Then the bolt carrier assembly can come out. Then we can take the bolt out of the bolt carrier assembly. That is not everything because I think we need to take this off too. Now it's field stripped. Don't ask me why you have to take the foregrip off. Now I have to reassemble it. That's going to end up being in the order I took it apart, of course. Oops, wrong one. Bolt back in the bolt carrier back in the gun. Put the bolt carrier piston back in. Gas piston back in. Put the bolt handle, or the cocking handle back in, charging handle, whatever the hell you want to call it. Put the gas valve back in. Put the receiver back in. Put the pins back in. Put the butt assembly back in. And put the magazine back in. And we have an assembled gun. Oh, 5003. Should we get the CZ75? Now this gun I haven't done yet. This one's new to me. Magazine first, of course. We take out the slide stop. We take out the slide. Take out the recoil spring guide. Fairly simple. We remove the recoil spring, and we remove the barrel. Done. Now we reassemble it. First step is to put the barrel in. The spring back on this thing. Back in. That can't be easy. CZ75, is that a 9mm? If it's a 9mm, it would be easier than a 45. 45 would be a pain in the neck to get that spring in. Watch this end up being a 45. Made in the Czech Republic. 9mm Luger. Nice. We got 50 for that. Complete disassembly. It's flashing all the parts I can remove first. forward and rear sights off. Nice. Nice tritium sights. Love those because they glow in the dark. Take out this little pin and remove the firing pin. What do we have here? Firing pin block stop. Oh, the extractor. Low extractor. Looks to be everything in the slide. Next step appears to be taking this screw out. And then this screw. We can take the grips off. Ooh, that's a little piece. Oops, no. Take the ejector out. This tiny little pin here. I almost didn't see it. There's something down here I can take out. This little pin. This spring assembly comes out the bottom. And I can take out this thing. This is an interesting gun. I'm never going to remember how this thing comes apart, let alone goes back together. Crazy. Take out the trigger assembly now. Looks like the trigger assembly can come apart. Still have 7 parts left. Oh, it looks like this assembly can come out. The screw and springs. Now I can take out this. There we go. What on earth did I take out last? It was this thing, wasn't it? This thing it called screw and springs was... yeah, that thing. Okay. Now the trigger assembly. No, this thing goes into the trigger assembly. And then... it's not the trigger. Here, this is the trigger assembly. Be easier to reassemble the slide first, wouldn't it? Oh wow, I'm never going to remember in what order all of this goes back together in. Shouldn't this go in next? Or does this go in next? Apparently that thing never goes back in. This needs to go back together. Then it can go in, I guess. This just looks like a difficult gun to disassemble. Okay. And after that, I think this... no? Oh, there was a pin down here. That's right. Isn't that pin supposed to go in next? No, I've forgotten something that goes in up top, and I think it's this pin. There we go. Okay, I thought that went back in. Those don't actually look like screws. They look like pins. Now this thing's not going to be easy to put back together. This was a very confusing design. That was weird. Slide stop. I think I got it. Magazine looks like a 1911 magazine. Done. Well, where's the... Oh, that's right. I unfull screen it, and then So I guess I'll stop streaming before I close the game. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it or move on to something else. I don't know if I'm going to play anything else. Maybe later tonight. But I'll see you guys later, and thank you for watching.